Do we all believe that Kyle Dubas is heading towards Pittsburgh? Because I do.
You do you?
Yep. And I think he's going after the whole kit and caboodle.
What, president as well?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, I do. I think he's everything that I've watched and observed. This guy is a guy that wants it all.
Do you think that behind the scenes, coming to the end of this deal, the Fenway Sports Group found a way to talk to him and said, this is what's going to be available to you at the end, or even more during the tumult, they went to him. And so he found the confidence to go back and say to the Leafs, I actually, change of plans. I want $5.5 million and I want autonomy, because he knew he had that deal.
Yeah.
I mentioned to you guys a long time ago, plan B. I don't know for 1 second how you turn down
20 to 25 mil or whatever it was.
$4 million or $4.5 million, and then go back to them 4 days later and ask for an additional $6 million without a plan B.
So something came up that made him confident enough to be like, how far can I push this thing?
Does anything else make any sense to you?
No.
For someone that would be in his position to just say,
Yeah.
I will go home and watch Jeopardy all
I can
winter?
say this. I, once upon a time, offered a job, didn't really want it, but liked the job. Didn't really want it. And after discussing money, decided, what would I do that for? After working it through with my wife and whatever, what would the number be? And it's a ridiculous number. But I went back and was like, this is what it would be. And they're like, okay, well, we're not doing that. And I think that's kind of Dubas here, where you go, if I'm going to be pushed around and kicked and have no autonomy, maybe after some thought, make it worth my while and I'll stay. If not, I'm happy to say no.
But his gap was a lot shorter than your gap.
True. That was a tight turnaround on that. I need
Whether
an
it's
extra
an
6 mil.
additional 6, 5, 4, and you are 37 years old, and I want to stress this. He's not Lou Lamoriello, who's around 80.
Right.
He's got 30 plus years of prime time earnings.
Yeah.
So how does $5, $6, $7, $8 million make a difference in your life when you are in this?
I don't know.
For what should be a very long career.
So, but by that logic, you should want to be with the team that gives you the best chance at winning, which is the thing that gives you the longest success. You can be Ken Holland if you've got cups. You guys talked about Chiarelli. When were Holland's cups? Earlier than that, by a year or two, actually. But when you win, you get to have longevity and get hired for $5 million. And so to Dubas, it should be more about what team has a better chance to win. And do the Penguins have a better chance than the Leafs? No, they don't. So I don't know. On that, premise, maybe he's missing the ball too.
Are you guys there's still a ton of stories coming out on pro Dubas in terms of I read the other day, I think Jonas Siegel had an article out in The Athletic, which I found very interesting. And of course, I get it. He's got a job to do, and there's a certain angle there for sure. But he went in and talked to still employees at MLSE, and it's like the whole thing was like how everybody's still devastated. And of course, when you speak of that, you're asking for people to be anonymous and or because jobs are on the line. I get all of that, but I think one of his lines that just kind of blew me away was like, they're all in mourning.
Well, that wasn't one of his lines. That was actually
that's right.
line.
One of the lines that I read that he quoted somebody anonymously that said, we're all in mourning.
I've got two thoughts on that.
And I'm like that's a what a strong message.
Yeah. Well, hey, some people support people in sports. All right, I'm a fan of this guy. I root for this guy, whatever. Dubas had disciples. He had people that would follow him to the end. And so hold on to that point. The article to me is capturing that tone from those people inside, which is very real. It was just, the guy who hired me and gave me a chance is gone, so I'm sad. I get that.
But people getting fired or traded, let go, sent to the minors, waived. Like, that's all part of the world that we live in professional sports. Like,
Yeah.
the most popular players in history have been traded.
Yeah.
Like mourning.
They thought it was forever.
Mourning's death.
Yeah.
This is not death. This is just a guy leaving. And like, it's rippled through the office, and they're devastated. They're confused. Like, can we not act like professionals here, people?
It is a different. Go ahead, Sammy.
I don't hate that people are feeling a little bit uncomfortable.
No, I agree.
This is not
Within the
uncomfortable.
Well,
This is devastation.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I read that article too, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus.
No, we're not. We're
I know,
just
but it
having
just-
All of us
There was
like
a- we're not.
Jonas, and I know a lot of people
no, it's
felt
not
that
Jonas.
that was right.
He's just the messenger here.
Exactly.
We're talking about, I'm focusing on the actual people in there
Yep.
that are paid to do a job and are acting like their lives are over.
I know.
Like, you got a job to do. Why don't you focus on your job and a little bit less of what everybody else's personal issues are
Right.
with their job?
Yeah.
I truly couldn't believe what I was reading.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, no, it's relevant. I had it sent to me several times.
I was like, are you kidding me? How many, like, this is professional sports. Do you think he just has a job forever? What do you expect? Like, it's the #1 hired and fired job maybe outside of ours
I will
in
say,
the world.
I go ahead.
Okay. No, you go ahead.
I think this leads to a bigger conversation about what Kyle Dubas is to people. And he's not just a GM. He's like a proxy for so many things. So many people, old hockey guys, talk about him. Oh, this pencil pushing nerd, whatever. And then you got all the young people who, are the analytics people who think he's, Jesus Christ.
But he hired them.
I understand. Yeah.
So are they?
And often in their first
Is
roles.
this article a reflection of how insecure you are with your job?
I think there's a lot of insecurity shown from a lot of people who talk about Kyle Dubas. That's 100% it. Everyone, it's like reflected in him in some way. I don't feel like people ever just talk about him, the guy. It's always Kyle Dubas, the glasses.
The other thing too is like this feeling like they've just lost Theo Epstein.
Right. That's also very true. But a lot of people say, so Epstein, I think, was hired at 37 by the Red Sox and hadn't held the job of that magnitude before and eventually won. Dubas is about to be hired at 37. I've seen people say he's ahead of where Epstein was at this time. But you're right. People are afraid they're losing Epstein here.
Okay. Last time I checked, 2 world championships.
With 2 different
Right?
long-suffering organizations.
He won, yeah.
We're talking about a guy
From 37
that
on,
won
though.
1 round in 5 years.
Yeah.
And 1 game in the second round. He is not Theo Epstein. He may be one day, but he ain't leaving today
that's the
like
fear.
he's Theo Epstein.
No, you're right. You're right. The track record is not there to be this shook about it, but this is the since we've been covering the Leafs, you can be on a street corner right now and lean over to the person waiting for the light to change. You can cross the street and talk to them about this, and they have an opinion.
I was at Centennial last night after I played golf with you guys. I went and played with my wife.
You are strange.
Yeah.
Well, I went and played with my wife. She wanted to play golf, and I went and did it, and we had a blast. But at the starters hut, there was a group of at maybe 7 or 8 people, men, women, legitimately screaming at each other about the Leafs. Like, top of their lungs, being like, man, they got to get rid of Martin. Nylander's got to go. Keefe's no good. They should not. I'm just like, oh, my God, it's a fever pitch.
I dropped my kid off at school today, and there's three teachers going into it about, why Dubas left and what they got to do now. It doesn't happen like that during the playoffs here. The talk about hockey. It's
a fever.
It's insane.
It's a runaway fever.
It is.
I got a fever.
The only
only cure
solution is to win more hockey games.
Yeah.